George Osborne in this year's budget offered a moratorium on some costs related to regulation for small companies and startups as the British economy recovers from recession. But it seems to me that there's an academic underpinning to all of this rationale. I'm now joined by Professor Cliff Oswick, head of the Faculty of Management here at Cass Business School. It seems to me that people like Michael Porter are thinking in terms of company profits in a much more broader term.
Yes, I think so. I think that removing regulatory measures has a certain impact, but it removes a need for compliance, but it doesn't actually remove the need to engage with things more meaningfully in terms of commitment. So although this might encourage profit maximisation, it doesn't encourage a form of social engagement and social responsibility. Those issues are things that Michael Porter's talked about more recently in the Harvard Business Review. And I think there is certainly a case for engaging more directly with community values and community needs.
Corporate social responsibility really splits views in the world of business, but should it really be considered a cost, or could something more profitable come out of the concept of CSR?
Well, I think CSR has traditionally been seen as a burden on businesses, and something which they've done reluctantly or as a unique selling proposition, or indeed just as a result of social pressure, political pressure. I think what's more recently been talked about is the idea of shared value is an idea that's become very popular recently. And shared value actually means that you seek to maximise profits through maximising not only the economic benefits but the social benefits of approaches.
And could you give me some examples of where this could be actually brought into action?
Certainly, I think one example is fair trade initiatives. What traditionally has happened is fair trade initiatives simply redistribute profitability and wealth. So a farmer will get more for their crop, but that actually doesn't lead to increased social value in a way that something like shared value would, instead of redistributing money, would say, how can we increase the resource for the farmer and for the company as a whole, and therefore benefit society? So helping to build roads and infrastructure that would help a farmer to get more product to crop, more crops to market would be an example of that. Helping to maximise the growth potential of a crop by using certain initiatives to increase the amount and yield. Those sorts of things are not simply about fair trade and the price that's paid. They're companies engaging in infrastructure, social infrastructure, building roads, creating wealth locally and engaging with the community in a way that has mutual benefit. The way to think of it is that effectively traditional approaches have simply sought, such as fair trade, has simply sought to cut the pie differently. What shared value seeks to do is say, let's not work with a pie that's this size, let's get another pie, or let's have a bigger pie.
So it's not just about the redistribution of
wealth,
it's actually about making the wealth bigger.
It's about the engagement of large corporations with NGOs, public bodies, in order to create mutual benefit, economic benefit for the company and social benefit for the community. And those things have traditionally been seen as mutually exclusive, or at least in tension. I think what shared value seeks to do is challenge that long-held view.
And for MBA students like me, Michael Porter means just one word, really. It's one term is sustainable competitive advantage. Do you think this concept of shared value will help corporations achieve that, or do you think this is actually a more holistic concept in business?
It won't help organisations to continue to maximise their wealth and their profitability and their long-term profits. But really, businesses can't continue to operate on that basis. We won't have a planet for them to operate in unless we start to take sustainable issues seriously. So companies can't any longer ignore the pressures, the environmental pressures around them. And CSR simply fails to address those in a meaningful way because companies see it as a cost, which affects and minimises and impacts upon profitability. So there needs to be a real complete change of mindset around how we value organisations and how we value society. I think particularly what that means is that we have to start thinking of creative ways of simultaneously increasing profit and adding value to society. And I've given you a couple of examples of that already.
Professor Cliff Oswick of Cass Business School, thank you very much.
You're welcome.